Alright. Actually, I didn't know how long it'll be. God, I think I missed like a very big part of this like Modern Warfare campaign. Roger Abrahamson, Chant Barb.
It's the FNG, sir. What the hell kind of name is Soap?
Like, apparently I missed like a big part of the story because I didn't know that Modern Warfare is gonna be like a trilogy. Actually, I kind of want to play call it Black Ops now.
Nikolai's in hell right now. We're gonna walk him out. We take care of our friends. Zakhaev. Imran Zakhaev.
You know, for someone who's very powerful, all he had was tracksuit. Then again, oh hey Cancer. Then again, I wouldn't care how I dressed if my father was the leader of an entire army. They did a really big intro for this. Five years later. I only played one mission in this game, and that was because of the demo. I always wanted to get this game, but I was a poor little boy in middle school.
The more things change, the more they stay
I always had to wait till Christmas time.
Boundary shift, new players step in.
Then again, I
Power
was
always finds a
incredibly
place
late.
to rest its head.
Shepard.
We fought and bled alongside the Russians. We should have known they'd hate us for it. History is written by the victor, and here I am thinking we'd won. But you bring down one enemy and they find someone even worse to replace him. Locations change, the rationale, the objective. Yesterday's enemies are today's recruits. Train them to fight alongside you, and pray.
Oh, they
don't
worship
eventually
him
decide
now.
to hate you for it too.
The hero of Russia. He did try and start a nuclear... PFC, what does that mean?
Same shit, different day. You know what I'm looking for, Sergeant Foley. Keep your eyes open.
Got a new batch hitting the pit today, sir. I'll send you the best I find.
PFC, what does that mean? Private Joseph Allen.
Welcome to Pull the Trigger 101. Private Allen here is going to do a quick weapons demonstration to show you locals how it's done. No offense, but I see a lot of you guys firing from the hip and spraying bullets all over the range.
What are you talking about?
You don't end up
Ah,
hitting the
shit,
damn thing and it
shit,
makes you
shit,
look
shit.
like an ass.
Private
Allen, show 'em what I'm talking about. Turn around and fire at the targets. Don't aim down the sight yet. I'm trying to make a point here.
Okay, sorry.
From the hip.
No, what the heck?
See what I mean? He sprayed bullets all over the damn place. You've got to pick your targets by aiming.
Wait. Can I change the control? Okay, default.
Deliberately down your sights from a stable stance.
This one's on Xbox
Show our friends
360.
here how the Rangers take down a target. Crouch first, then aim down your sight at the target.
This is perfection.
You want your targets to go down? You gotta aim down your sights. Aiming down your sights.
Exactly, I'm perfection, all you new recruits.
Aim down your
Look
sights,
at me.
then pop in and out to acquire new targets. Show 'em, Private. If your target is close to where you're aiming, you can snap to it quickly by aiming down your sights.
Did they really have aim assist like this? I don't remember this.
Now that's how you do it. You want to take down your targets quickly and with control. Now, if
Did they
your
have
target
this
is
in
behind like
multiplayer?
that, remember that certain weapons can
I thought I was
penetrate
just
the
really good at aiming.
The Private here will demonstrate.
Wait, then how did people suck in it? How did people suck in this game?
Last but not least, you need to know how to toss a frag grenade. Private Allen, pick up some frag grenades from the table.
Alright. It'd be really funny prank if I accidentally threw the grenades there.
Note that frags tend to
That
roll
I kind of missed that one, Sergeant.
twice before tossing one uphill. All right. Thanks for the help, Private Allen.
Yeah, man, I used to get nicks in this game, but if there's aim assist, I don't know how everyone didn't get one.
Show me what you've learned so far.
The pit. Oh god, they did.
Hey, Private. Welcome back to the pit. Cool idea, man. I never thought of that. Heard General
Oh my
Shepard wants
God.
to pull a shooter from our unit for some special op. Anyway, he's up there in observation. All right, try switching to your rifle. Good. Now switch to your sidearm again. You see how fast that was? Remember, switching to your pistol's always faster than reloading. Well, smile for the cameras and don't miss. Shepard's gonna be watching. Best shooter gets to join the prima donna.
Scar, my baby.
Okay, head on in.
ACR.
Timer starts as soon as the first target pops.
Oh shit. Wait, I don't know. I don't remember this gun.
I don't know why they don't.
Is this a Modern Warfare 2 exclusive gun? Ah, he's not black. I can't shoot. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought he was black. Actually. Get out of the way, kid. I hate kids.
You looked okay out there, but you still need some work. Okay,
the
head
fuck up.
upstairs and regroup with your team, or you can go back in and run the course again.
No, I'm not a regular. I'm gonna play hard mode. Your skills would be strange. Wait, really? Yes. Yes, I'm absolutely sure. I'm not a bitch.
Head upstairs, regroup with the others.
I've played Call of Duty before.
Everyone get to your vehicles. We're moving.
The heck? What are you doing? You putting salt on him? What's going on?
We are the most powerful military force in the history of man. Every fight is our fight. Because what happens over here matters over there. We don't get to sit one out.
Okay.
Learning to use the tools of modern warfare is the difference between the
I
prosperity of
mean,
your people.
there's a
and
lot of
utter
wars that we
destruction.
kind of ignored because it doesn't
We can't
affect
give you
us.
freedom, but we can
that's
give
not
you the
exactly
know-how to
true.
acquire it. And that, my friends, is worth more than a whole army base of steel.
We also don't invest
Sure,
in
it matters
ourselves,
who's
we
got the
invest in
biggest stick,
armies.
But it matters a hell of a lot more who's swinging it.
We
This
can
is
have
a
buses
time
or
for
trains,
heroes, a
but
time
no.
for legends.
Cool airplane that can
written
bomb
by the
civilians and
Let's get to
cities. That's worth more than just a train that can probably just bring me all the way to California while I sleep. Protect the bridge layer. Oh, hey, Shepard. What am I doing here? Shepard, you kinda woke me up at a bad time. Bugs.
Pressure on those RPG teams.
Wait, bugs. Oh.
We're swimming, whoa! Alan, switch to the M203.
Warlord, this is Hunter 2-1, requesting airstrike at grid 252171. Target is a white 12-story apartment building. Over.
Drop some rounds on across the river.
Don't worry, I'm doing. Oh shit. You know, I think I prefer being dead, Shepard. Not exactly the best place to be. Can I go up there? No.
Devil 1-1, target is a white 12-story apartment building at grid 252171.
Oh, you guys are just chilling while everyone else is over there.
Multiple targets, take them out!
Okay, stop chilling, guys.
Up on the bridge, far side!
Oh shit. Okay.
They're making a push for the bridge layer. Beat 'em back. Hunter 2, keep up the pressure on those RPG teams. If that bridge layer gets hit, we're swimming, whoa! Alan, switch to the M203.
Warlord, this is Hunter 2-1, requesting airstrike at grid 252.
Oh my god.
Target is a white 12-story apartment building. Over.
These bullets hurt a lot. Why the hell did they get to chill over there while he worked? Some of us are dying over here. This is very so unfair.
Devil 1-1.
Look at them.
12-story apartment building at grid 252.
Private SEAL. You're not even one of the most important people.
Bridge, 10 o'clock high. Multiple targets, take them out!
Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
Up on the bridge, far side!
Don't worry, Private Malik. You're eating. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you.
Bridge layer!
The bridge layer was destroyed.
Hunter 2, keep up the pressure on those RPG teams. If that bridge layer gets hit, we're swimming, whoa! Alan, switch to the M203.
Warlord, this is Hunter 2-1, requesting airstrike at grid 252171. Target is a white 12-story apartment building. Over.
Drop some rounds on across the river.
Hunter 2-1, this is Warlord. Solid copy. I have Devil 1-1, flight of 2, F-15s online, stand by for relay.
Am I missing? I think I am. I think right here. Okay, yeah, that's good. I missed it a lot again. Don't worry, Shepard.
Target is a white 12-story apartment building at grid 252171. Need you to level that building. How about the open?
On the bridge, 10 o'clock high. Multiple targets, take them out!
Solid copy, Hunter 2-1. Rolling in now. Target acquired.
Up on the bridge, far side!
You're not running away, buddy. Oh, damn, that's really cool. Making a makeshift bridge. It's like we're playing Fortnite.
Oscar Mike, move out!
We're moving out! Let's go, let's go! Get your ass back in the vehicle! Oscar Mike!
Oscar Mike, move out!
If you gotta drop a spike, do it now, buddy, because once I start that car, it's not stopping.
Cruncher. Oh, these are named after snacks.
Which building
I think
is it,
I
sir?
like that.
It's that tall one at 1 o'clock. Hey, which building?
Speedy.
One at 1 o'clock. The tall...
Punta Gorda.
Which one is it? Is it the one on the left or the right?
Oh my god.
Hey, isn't this
That-
danger close for the task force? Come on, since when does Shelby care?
Okay. If you don't know, Punta Gorda means fat pussy. Okay.
Hunter 2, breaking away.
Victory Street.
All 102 Victor. Keep an eye out for civvies. We're not clear to engage unless they fire first. Scan the rooftops for hostiles. Stay frosty.
Oh my god. This place isn't good.
You see anything? I got nothing, dude. This place is dead.
It's a trap. Okay. Hoorah. That is the saddest hoorah I've ever seen. Heard.
Seat Elizabeth.
Hoorah.
Roger that, Hunter 2-1. Proceed with caution.
I'm sorry, I'm depressed right now. Hoorah. Oh god, it's struggling in this place.
Guys, this is the Wild West.
Old game, come on.
Watch those alleys.
Hey, watch out for camels, guys. What about those guys? Do I shoot those guys?
Balcony, 12 o'clock. Probable militia. Are they armed? Negative. They're just watching us.
I bet they're scouting us. We can shoot.
I can shoot you right now.
Can you see him? Can you
Don't
see
look
him?
at me with those eyes.
I don't see Jack!
All Hunter Victor. This is Sergeant Foley. Prepare to engage.
Prepare to engage! We're going in! This is it! Speed him up!
Yeah, war crimes. Oh god. Oh god, it hurts. Who's shooting me? Drive! Oh god! Oh god, there's so many, Jesus! Up in front of us, shit. Just drive. Jesus. Yeah. Oh god. And it's struggling again. Old game. And I'm not okay. I know I can buy this on Steam for like $20, but no. Or it was $40, I think. This game's on Steam for $40, which sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but it's been almost. It's been like what, 15 years? The fuck? You expect me to pay $40 for this game? You're not Nintendo.
102-1 to 102-3. I have eyes on the school. Over.
School? Wait, school?
Keep it together, 2-3. We're on the way.
Aw, shit. That's my jam, school! Don't worry, everyone, we're American. Oh shit. I forgot they're Arabian. We excel in guns. They excel in bombs. You guys fucked up. This is a school, bitch. Americans are known for this. This is basically our home turf. Oh, I forgot this is where the dual shit started. I remember I used to use all of these. Hey, buddies.
Yeah, I'm cutting through history class now.
Roger that.
Hunter 2-1, this is Hunter 2-3. Thanks for the assist.
Oh god.
We're leaving on Hunter 3 healthy. Over.
Roger that, 2-3.
Dumbasses. School's American turf. Ah, shit, please. Oh, it fucking crashed. Are you kidding me? Really? Come on, why? No, why? Please don't tell me. Oh, I have to restart. This is an emulator, by the way. I'm sorry, but... yeah, I'm not paying $40 once again. I mean, I could buy like an Xbox 360 version of this, except I don't want to pick it up. Honestly, I don't trust like those types of sellers.
Switch to M203.
Warlord, this is Hunter 2-1, requesting airstrike at grid 252-171. Target is a white.
But if I can find it for free, I will. Not everything, but just old games. Old games sometimes deserve to be free.
Flight of 2, F-15s online, stand by for relay.
I know they put it on Steam, but no, it's $40. Fuck that. I'm not paying. And the fucking sale is $20. This does not... well, it is kind of worth that still, but it's only for campaign. Which, honestly, actually, campaign's pretty short.
On the bridge, multiple targets. Take them out.
Solid copy, Hunter 2-1.
Actually, I don't know how short this campaign is. Hopefully not as short as the new Call of Duty campaign. I don't know how the fuck that shit's worth $70. Alright, let's go, buddies.
Hunter 2, bridge complete. We're Oscar Mike. Move out.
We're moving out! Let's go, get your ass back in the vehicle. Oscar Mike!
We're Oscar Mike. Move it.
10 seconds! Once I start that car, I'm not stopping. Which building is it, sir? It's that tall one at 1 o'clock.
Hey, which building? The one at 1 o'clock. The top. Hey, Dave, which one is it? Is it the one on the left or the right? The one on the left. Hey, isn't this danger close for the task force? Come on, since when does Shelby care about danger close?
Damn right, destruction. Every male fantasy wants that. Just absolute destruction everywhere.
Hunter 2, breaking away.
Copy, Hunter 2.
Victory Street. Doesn't look very victorious.
We're not clear to engage.
I don't, should we drive past that?
Stay on the rooftops, hostile.
I don't think I want to drive past that.
You see anything? We got nothing, dude.
I don't want to drive in here with these buildings.
Overlord. Hunter 2-1. We're passing Tunnel Harvey. Cross Street Elizabeth. Roger that, Hunter 2-1. Proceed with caution.
Stay frosty, you guys. This is the
I also like this type of city style where I could just walk everywhere. I like this. America is nowhere near like this.
3-foot mobiles. Balcony, 12 o'clock. Probable
I wish America was more like this and not New York.
Negative.
New York, I got called a bitch the first time I was there.
I bet they're scouting us.
Also, there's like pee everywhere and it sucks.
Can you see him? Can you see him? I don't.
Are you kidding me? It's... oh, fucking fuck. Come on. Why is it crashing? Please. Wait, hold on. Let me try something. Wait, time. Maybe if I do this, this. Okay. Okay. There. Maybe extreme. Maybe I should have done that instead.
Rangers lead the way.
Okay, that seems a lot clearer. Yeah, it's running more smoothly.
Keep up the pressure on those RPG teams. If that bridge layer gets hit, we're swimming in water.
Warlord, this is Hunter 2-1, requesting airstrike at grid 252171. Target is a white 12-story apartment building. Over.
Hunter 2-1, this is Warlord. Solid copy. I have Devil 1-1, flight of 2, F-15s online, stand by for relay.
I think it's just because my CPU was doing the work and not my GPU.
Time on station 15 mics, holding at 3 Sierra Northwest. Holding area 9.
My CPU is more than decent, but
Devil 1-1, target is a
it is being used at the moment.
I need you to level that building.
Maybe that's why it's like doing pretty badly.
Solid copy, Hunter 2-1. Rolling in now. Target acquired.
They're retreating. Keep hitting them.
Where's Shepard, by the way? Where did he go? He's not even here. The fuck?
Hunter 2, bridge complete. We're Oscar Mike. Move out.
We're moving out! Let's go, get your ass back in the vehicle. Oscar Mike!
We're Oscar Mike. Move out.
Okay, hopefully it works this time. I actually don't know why I crashed it one time.
That's all 1 o'clock.
I already passed that part. I see you.
Hey, isn't this danger close for the task force? Since when does Shepard care about danger close?
Hoorah. Oh, what is that building?
Hunter 2, breaking away.
Copy, Hunter 2. All Hunter 2 victors. Keep an eye out for civvies. We're not clear to engage unless they fire first.
Wait a sec.
Scan the rooftops of hospitals.
There's civilians here.
You see anything?
Did we always do this? Is this based on a true story? No, I mean not this, but I mean like in wars where we just bomb a city full of civilians. Wait, it is. Never mind. I just answered my own question. I remember.
Watch those alleys.
No wonder we're so close. I was actually, never mind. I won't be political here. Never mind.
Probable militia. Are they armed? Negative. They're just watching us.
I bet they're scouting us.
Sorry. Sorry for your melons, whoever that is.
Can you see him? Can you see him?
I don't see Jack!
All Hunter victors. This is Sergeant Foley. Prepare to engage.
Engage! We're going in!
Fire from multiple directions.
Speed him up!
Oh god, curb stomper, you've been curb stomped. Move this shit out of here. Oh god. I'm hurt. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. Everyone alright? Hoorah. Yeah, alright. Yeah, it seems alright. Hold on, let me pick up my gun real quick. Wait, what other guns do we have? Alright, never mind.
Get a flashbang in there!
Oh shit! Okay. You cannot get ahead while you are eating. Ah! Fuck. Where's my RPD? Alright. I like that. Just answer everything with hoorah. Hoorah. Hey, you alive? Hoorah. Okay.
Hunter 2-1 to Hunter 2-3. I have eyes on the school. Over.
2-1, we are combating effective here. We're taking heavy fire in the school. Can you assist? Over.
Don't worry.
Let's go. Keep it together, 2-3. We're on
I have the spirit of the school shooter in me. Oh wait, you're still alive. All the other kids with the pumpkin kids, you better run faster than my bullets.
We're in the school. Heavy resistance.
All the other kids with the pumpkin kid, better run faster than my bullets. Don't worry, men. We're American in a school. It's what we do best.
You need to take the heat off of Hunter 2-3.
It's like fighting a fish in water. Are you kidding me? They also have school. I mean, they also have guns in school. Should've known they would copy our tactics. Alright, go up front. I'm reloading.
Yeah, I'm cutting through history
Are you kidding me? Come on. Please, are you shitting me? Okay, I'm gonna have to play another game. I don't know what to play now. For now, I will not give up on playing Modern Warfare 2. I will not. I can't play Overwatch, never mind. What do I do then? I guess I'll react to a video. For now, I guess. I don't know. Wait. Uh. Christian, I guess. Chris. Christian, I remember I bet you. 46? What the hell? Okay.
Christian is often
Wait. Actually, something's going on with my computer. Is that why? This thing. Sorry if someone expected Modern Warfare. Wait. Let me rename it, yeah. Never mind, I'll play it. I'll have to find a new, like... Okay, never mind. Alright, never mind. Wait, actually, I should probably change the thumbnail.
called the most documented person on the internet. From an extensive wiki to thousands of YouTube videos, millions of onlookers who have jumped on to observe the story, it's hard to name someone more synonymous with modern internet culture. And even with Chris
I
being
only
subject to
know
forum
that
talk
he
for more than a
likes
decade at this
Sonic.
point,
That's
it
all the
seems like
thing.
people are hardly
And he's
losing
famous
interest.
for something.
So today, we'll try to cover the entire story of everyone's favorite, or least favorite, internet celebrity.
I forgot who suggested Christian. Was it Ronnie?
Chris Chan's story starts and ends with women, and with one in particular, his mother. Her allegedly abusive parenting being why he became the most documented individual in the world. And it was on account of his unspeakable acts toward her that he was suddenly pulled out of the public eye and into a jail cell. Seeing as he was just released from that jail cell, everyone's worried about what's next for Chris. It's natural to think... Seeing as he was just released from that jail cell, everyone's worried about what's next for Chris. It's natural to think history will repeat itself, but many still
Wait,
don't.
where
Everyone's
in
worried about
Central
what's next for
Virginia? That
Chris.
sounds like my hometown. Did not know he was in my hometown.
But many still don't know the full extent of that history. A history which spans over 40 years, with its groundwork being laid even prior to that. It all started in the year of our Lord, 1980, when a 53-year-old Bob Chandler and a 39-year-old Barbara Weston got married. Barb was involved with a few other men before Rob, such as a man named Ron Coleman Yeats Sr., who she had a child with by the name of Cole. Barb, however, disputes this and claims to have never been involved with Rand, but with a man named Jack Smithy, with whom she supposedly...
Wait. Cover this real quick. Wait, let me download a different Modern Warfare 2. At the same time. Okay.
Supposedly had a fancy wedding. Cole grew dubious of his mother's claims about who his father was and decided to hire private investigators to settle the matter. In emails he eventually exchanged about the pursuit of the identity of his father.
Wait, shit. Whoops. It's still downloading even without that thing. Wait. I mean, fuck. I'm fucking up to today a lot.
Father, Cole said, "It seems likely, since Rand's middle name is Coleman, that this man is my biological father." However, Barbara never spoke of this marriage. I would never have known about it had I not made a special trip to Richmond to get copies of all of her marriage certificates. Can you imagine having an essential part of your personal family history shrouded in mystery for 44 years because the one person who could clear the air insists on lying to you? Barbara hung up the phone in my
They
face
even
when I
made
asked her
their
about these
documentaries.
revelations.
I saw
Needless
there's
to
like
say, I really don't give a
like
fuck about
50 or
Barbara
something.
or about her fucking lies. In 1966, when Cole was 3 years old, Barbara began a relationship with a man named Jerry Harmon Jr., who would become Cole's stepfather. Another finding of Cole's investigations was that Barb never actually married Jerry despite her claims of having done so. A trend of dishonesty was forming. In an email about the domestic situation during this time, Cole said, "Barbara is mistaken about the bunch of good years we supposedly had together. I grew up in an abusive household with Barbara and my former stepfather Jerry, where physical and mental punishments ran the gamut, from bare beatings to cold showers to bizarre scenarios acted out with glee by two deeply
Cold
neurotic
showers.
adults. The treatment I received in Richmond, Virginia was another matter altogether. To raise a child in such conditions is inexcusable. Even at a very young age, I knew they would abandon me. They were both
Wait,
irresponsible."
bare-ass beatings. I mean, is that normal? Isn't that normal? Like, I mean, I never got that, but I see that all the time. Also, I don't mean by like people take cold showers. I mean, unless they're forcing him, I guess.
And incompetent parents who exposed me to traumas that I would rather not remember. As for Barbara professing her love for me, I have not seen any evidence of it in close to 20 years, and that's a very long time. Barbara's definition of love is a hackneyed sentimental term she uses to extract a response. At some point in the early 1970s, Barbara nearly killed Cole when attempting to scare off a would-be robber. A burglar tried to break in when my dad was out cheating on my mom. We had a steel front door. Some dirtbag was making no bones about trying to break down our front door. Richmond was the rape capital of America at the time. My mother,
Wait,
Barbara,
really?
left the living room for the adjacent bedroom, where said
Huh.
pistol sat waiting. She returned with a fully loaded gun. I stood beside her about 10 feet from the door, where the would-be thief was still loudly at work trying to break down the front door. My mother pulled back the hammer, attempting to cock it, but she didn't pull it back far enough for it to lock. Blam! The gun fired. The bullet hit the floor, ricocheted onto the steel door, then onto the ceiling, before lodging in the plaster wall less than a foot to the left of my head. The would-be thief was scared off, so mission accomplished there. But I could have easily died. In 1978, Barbara and Jerry separated, and not long after, Cole moved to California, presumably to get as far away as possible from his dysfunctional mother. Despite being directly connected to the endless odyssey of Christery, as it's often called, Cole is a relatively normal
Christery.
person. After they both separated from their respective spouses and married one another, Bob and Barb didn't see their advanced ages as a reason to avoid conceiving a child. Whether this was due to their lack of knowledge
Yeah,
of the
wait.
risks, carelessness, or a
The
mixture of
video is
both,
by Turkey Tom. Like and sub. Since I'm here, might as well.
is anyone's guess.
Support.
By 1981, Barb was pregnant, and on February 24th, 1982, a child was born that would change the world forever. Christopher Weston Chandler. Unfortunately, whatever bad parenting techniques were present when Barbara was raising Cole were at least as bad, if not worse, when it came to raising Chris. By 1983, probably due to her lack of interest in raising Chris herself, Barbara hired a babysitter that would end up abusing 1.5-year-old Chris by locking him in a closet. Later on, he would claim that this led to him having autism, although that claim is doubted. This situation caused him to become nonverbal.
That's not how you
only
get
occasionally
autism.
Screeching
That is not how you get autism.
and crying, which made him very difficult to deal with for his parents. By 1985, Chris met the first person besides his parents whom he recalls as a friend, Sarah Nicole Hammer. According to what he himself says in his Wikipedia autobiography, which, yes, exists, Sarah brought him out of his autistic shell and helped him become more social.
My little brother
though she
does
did, every once in a while,
like,
take advantage of
in the
Chris's less
spectrum.
than advantage intellect by doing things like locking him in a house's crawl space or trying to get him to put a honeysuckle in his mouth. But apart from that, Sarah was actually nice to him. They played hide and seek, rode swing sets, and even roller skated. This was one of the very few times Chris got to be a regular child. A couple of years later,
It
Chris
is pretty
began
hard to be
kindergarten
in
and
the
Bob retired
spectrum.
from his job. In fear that he was going to die from his heart problems, Bob decided to write Chris a letter for him to read in the future, in the case that he passed away. In one excerpt, it read, "I hope I've been able to provide for you and your mother until you at least get to college, and for your mother until she joins me at the great sing-along in the sky, or wherever.
Sing-along in the
Anyway, I
sky.
expect you to take care of her, love her, and never disappoint her for as long as she lives. I also expect you to never disappoint me, because I will always be with you to help you when the going gets tough, and you need me. Since everything always seems to happen for the best for me and when I need it, I've always felt like my mother was my guardian angel. You look exactly like my mother and I. I didn't plan my life. I just took it as it came along. I seem to have had no control over it. It always came along with what was right for me. Look at me 8 years ago in 1979. When I was really down and out and ready to cash in my chips with heart problems I didn't even know about, your mother, Barbara Ann, helped me through the rough spots, and together we had you. Now I really had something to live for. No better things or events could have happened to me. Your mother and I have done our best for you,
Aw, that's
and in
really
return, we
nice.
expect at least
I
that from you,
mean-
for yourself, and your children. Despite
Okay.
Chris still being mute at
Yeah.
the time, it's evident that Bob had high hopes for him, which included college and children. On top
Yeah,
of all of
that's,
that, he emphasized as much as he could, Chris ought to love and take
That's
care
a
of
lot
Barb.
to tell
Advice
your
which you'll eventually
child.
know Chris took to heart in quite a peculiar way. Regardless of Bob's shortcomings as a father, it seems that he did genuinely care for Chris and wanted the best
But,
for him,
I mean, he's
at least based
sweet.
on this letter. As his childhood
At least-
progressed and he attended speech therapy
At least
classes,
he's not one of
Chris
those Asian
eventually started
parents that
speaking again at
forces
age
them to
7.
study
This was
all
a
the
relief
time.
for his parents who could now actually communicate with him instead of having to guess what was on his mind. According to Chris himself, he quickly made up for his time in silence by talking a lot with his classmates. Through the entirety of his childhood, Chris's parents showered him with gifts, the brunt of which were video games. For Christmas that year, he was given a Nintendo Game Boy, which eventually allowed him to play Pokemon.
Oh,
As we'll
that's
learn later,
nice.
this culminated in a major timeline shift in Christory. For the rest of primary school,
Christory,
Chris's
oh
life
my
wasn't
God.
any more eventful than your average kid. He had a crush on a girl for a little while and played lots of video games. However, when he entered 4th grade,
Actually,
something very
maybe I
odd
should do a
happened.
Sonic
5 faculty
marathon,
members,
a
ranging
Sonic
from teachers
3D
to the
marathon.
principal, as he retells it, abused
Play
him
all
by
the
pinning him
Sonic
to the ground,
games.
holding his wrists and ankles, and
kinda wanna do
audiotaping his
that now.
cries and shouts. Regardless of how far-fetched or possibly false the story may sound, it must have had some degree of truth to it, since Bob and Barb went as far as suing the school, proceeding to homeschool Chris for the time being. We don't have detailed knowledge about the legal proceedings of this lawsuit, but we do know that it eventually got dismissed. Whatever your opinions about homeschooling may be when it concerns children, in Chris's case, being around other kids was beneficial for him and he needed the social interaction to improve. While taking
He
him out
was
of
such a
school might
big
have
fan
been
of
necessary
Sonic.
due to the treatment he was getting from the staff,
And,
being
obviously,
isolated
to
entirely
anyone,
was certain to do him
no,
harm.
I'm not
In
a
December
furry.
of 92, Bob and Barb took Chris
I did-
to a
I'm
mall
not
where
that
they would
type of
stumble
Sonic
across
fan.
the Leonard Bernstein Symphony Orchestra, a band of animatronic bears. During their interaction with the leader of the band, Leonard Bernstein himself, the performer that operated the animatronics behind the scenes, accidentally called Chris Christian instead of Christopher, his birth name. For whatever reason, this deeply struck a chord with Chris, who insisted that his name be legally changed to Christian, a wish that would eventually be
What?
granted by his parents and even got
What?
coverage in a local newspaper. Later on, it seems Chris believed God himself was acting through that bear.
I am Christian Weston Chandler. So get it through your damn fucking skull and call me the real name that God has been given to me and the bear at Regency Square Shopping Center during 1989.
To each their
In
own.
1993, the passion for Sonic the Hedgehog that Chris already had for years at that point would grow to new degrees, with him entering the Sonic the Hedgehog Watch and Win sweepstakes contest, where he won the grand prize, a $1,000 shopping spree at a local toy store. This win was reported on television, making yet another instance of Chris attracting the attention of the media, even as a young boy. By 1996, Barb would retire as well, meaning both her and Bob were spending the
Damn.
entirety of their time
I wish
raising
I was that
Chris,
lucky.
though whether their increased presence
Though I
was
don't
good
know
or
what-
bad for him,
what-
only time would
what I
tell.
can buy
This was
with
also the year year
$6
Chris
worth
began
of
high
Sonic
school, and in his
memorabilia. I'm
opinion,
not
these
that
were his
big of a
happiest
fan.
years.
I
It was
just
during
liked
this
the
period that
games
he
when I
became
was
the
a
water
kid.
boy for the basketball team, and just a year later, he's a manager for it. However, I assume that if Chris was able to exercise that position, it must not have been that serious of a position in the first place. During one of his high school's basketball games, Chris unknowingly received a vision of the things to come. As he tells it, "One day during b-ball practice, I was randomly thinking, with a picture of Mighty the Armadillo of Knuckles' Chaotix 32X leaning against one of a bunch of tall lockers in my head, when suddenly the door behind him opened up, and out popped this orange
Yeah,
hedgehog
Sonic
with a
is kinda
basketball.
dead now.
So I drew and colored him on paper
Pretty
immediately.
dead. Been
Bionic the
fucked up a
Hedgehog,
lot.
Sonic's long-lost brother, was born. As you can imagine, it's just a dismal recoloring of Sonic, but orange. Oh, and by the way, in case you didn't figure it out, his name is Bionic because B is for basketball. Along with having crushes on a couple of cheerleaders and involving
yes, I
himself in
know,
an
I
altercation that got
know.
him demoted to the short bus, his time in high school was marked by a prophetic dream about Sonic being on Game Boy. After getting an F in
Sonic
English,
somehow
the
has
16-year-old
the most
Chris recorded his
porn
very first
out of
video dubbed
all
Song of
characters.
Christian, where he read a poem
Somehow.
he wrote and proceeded to meander about other
I don't know
topics.
how, you
I hear
know.
America singing
I mean,
as I sing it myself. And you
yeah, actually, I don't get it. Why? Why
Sonic?
Sonic?
Yourself are my problem.
There's so
You
many
hear
other
the young
characters.
singing cries of happiness. The children's
Why
song,
Sonic?
the song
Come
of
on, furry
laughter.
community, leave him
And
alone.
Also, wait, Mother and also sometimes Mother and I buy some Lego sets and build them together. Like for example, this old bicycle pit shop here. You can tell
Yeah, he's an animal.
Lego set on the counter. There's the
Yet
old-fashioned
somehow
Legoland
he
on the
has so
corner.
much porn.
If you're already familiar
How?
with Chris Chan in any way,
Like,
you might be able to notice that he sounds different in this clip. Almost like he's a different
mean-
person. His voice is deeper and his speech is clearer than what he later became known for. To some extent, it's almost as if he was just your regular 90s nerd as opposed to the Lovecraftian entity he eventually came
actually,
to
that's
embody.
true. I
This
can't
is
think
due
of
to the
another
fact
one.
that during this time, Chris was regularly interacting with people that weren't his beyond geriatric parents, which resulted in him being a lot more socially capable and normal. But
He's
normalcy
also,
was on borrowed time in the Chandler household. For
little
starters,
fun
Chris
fact,
discovered how to, as he
they
puts it,
somehow like
mass
to put
debates in the ripe
fanfic.
old age of
What?
16 years old. After figuring out how to break the parental lock on
Okay,
his
wait,
TV, he
I
figured
lost-
it out for
I
himself,
lost my train
whatever
of
that
thought.
means. In 1998, the Pokemon anime
I
began
lost my-
being
I lost my
broadcasted,
thought
and
when
Chris
I
was
heard that.
immediately hooked, becoming a fan of the series. Shortly thereafter, the Pokemon Red and Blue game would hit the shelves in America, and in a way, Christian's fate was sealed at that
Yeah, it
very
doesn't-
moment.
it doesn't really
During
hurt me.
1999, Chris's obsession with Pokemon would
It
grow
hurt
more
Sonic.
evident, and in April, he created his first website called CWC's PokeSite, which was meant to be a Pokemon content and news aggregator, which, of course, Chris lacks the competence to maintain.
Actually,
it seems the site's code
Fun fact, you know, there's a popular cereal mascot called Tony the Tiger. They had to stop tweeting because people kept on saying that, oh, Tony the Tiger can like do stuff with me, because people kept on tweeting that to Tony the Tiger, a children's cereal mascot.
code was based mostly on a pre-built template and, most likely,
Yeah,
was made under
furries-
adult supervision,
furries and feet
considering one of the
people
entries
have
on the
no
site's
shame.
guest book seemed to be from one of Chris's teachers. Throughout most of the year, Chris created
know how
playing
they
cards for his
can
Pokemon OCs. His ideas
talk
weren't
so
always
much
the most
about what
creative,
they
such
like.
as Drummore and Symbolic, two Pokemon that were basically just sentient drums. One of these Pokemon, Espanolik, a comically stereotypical Hispanic Pokemon, served as the mascot of the Spanish
Okay.
version of the second edition of CWC's PokeSite. The absolutely broken miscarriage of a website that came as a result of Chris trying to make his website from scratch in HTML instead of using a template. In late August, he made Yoshi into a Pokemon, which set a precedent for him taking copyrighted characters from other franchises and making them into Pokemon. In the year 2000, Chris turned 18 and held a
Dude,
birthday
like,
party he
feet
eventually
people,
wrote about, saying,
they can
"We hung
just
balloons and
do it-
streamers
say
and laid
anything
refreshments out on
online."
the table. At the door was 4 of my high school amigas, and one of them brought a friend. We
But
ate pepperoni
actually,
pizza and drank Pepsi.
if you
It was
don't-
great.
if
As
you're
mother
too
lit the
young,
candles, I was filling
but
up with
there's a
ecstasy.
time in
After I blew the
Twitch
candles, I was presented with
where
a big
people would
jawbreaker
have
from
feet
Kelly,
cams.
an R.L. Stein novel from Sarah, a planner with stickers
Like
from Miranda,
5
and a
years
rabbit
ago,
doll
4
with
years
jelly
ago,
beans
I
from
don't
Tiffany.
remember.
We watched Good Burger and had fun.
They'd have
After
to
they left,
pay
it was
for the
done.
feet
What
cam,
did I
which
wish for?
sucked.
I'm not telling.
Like,
Though they obviously went to
yeah,
his party
I
in the
have no
spirit of
idea why.
charitability, the fact that he was likable enough to inspire these girls to humor him is a sign that, despite his problems, Chris was functional, even if in his own way. In the
Yeah,
same year,
Twitch
Chris began taking Paxil, a medication to
has
help with his autism. And
definitely
overall,
fallen.
it seemed like things were headed in the direction of stability. But who could
yeah,
ever
that
predict
was the
what was
thing.
coming next? Chris's interest in Pokemon endured, and
Now
he
it's
continued
all
to create new
about-
Pokemon playing cards while
Yeah,
having
now
people from
it's
his
all
school sign
about,
his
you
site's
know,
guest book, complimenting his art.
being
With
naked
all
and
of these
having
social
the
rewards
camera
he was
point
getting
up,
from
just
expressing his
barely see
creativity
looking
through his
at your
interests,
boobs.
Chris's ambition and belief in the potential of his creations only grew. During a computer graphics class, Chris was assigned to create a CD album cover, but with
And
the
that's
caveat
art.
that the image could not include any copyrighted character. Because of his dependence on derivative material, he struggled with this limitation. That is, until he came up with a brilliant idea. If he were to make a hybrid of two copyrighted characters, the resulting admixture wouldn't be copyrighted, and thus, it had to be acceptable. The CD, dubbed Christian's
yeah, they
Favorite Hits,
did for
would feature a
like,
picture of Chris
for
himself
like a day,
alongside
and
a
then
few
they
OCs
got
of
so
his,
much
but
hate.
with one unforeseen addition. The one and only Sonichu, a mixture of Sonic the Hedgehog and
Like,
Pikachu. He commented on this
they got
moment,
so much
saying,
hate that
"It
they
dawned on me at that
backtracked,
moment after lunch,
saying,
much
"Never
like the
mind,
random
it's to
creation of
expand now."
Bionic the Hedgehog during basketball practice in my freshman year, Sonichu just bursted right into my imagination. A blur at first, but then it became more clear and came together very well. So as swiftly as the creation of Bionic, I drew Sonichu on
Twitch
paper
just
from
likes to
imagination.
make a
Then I drew
lot
him
of
on my
bad
currently open
decisions.
Photoshop program. After checking with my teacher and my father, who is big on copyrights and whatnot, Sonichu was legal then, and still is, and only mine. So, soon after, the CD cover was made, printed, and passed with an A+ grade. And just like that, things would never, ever be the same.
Like, I
Soon
did
after
stream on
Sonichu's
Twitch for a little
conceptualization,
bit.
Chris would immediately start making homemade Sonichu merchandise as if he was a real character. One of the girls that went to his birthday party, Kelly, received a Sonichu sweater Chris had
But
made.
it's
Though
just
a
kept
virtual
getting worse
certainty,
and
she
worse.
had no idea what kind
There's
of psychotic
Kick,
horror
but I don't
she was
like
dealing
Kick.
with at the time. Chris's creative
Honestly.
streak would continue to manifest through another assignment he had to do, wherein he would have to document a week of his high school life, which he would dub A Week with Christian
Like,
Chandler. The cover art is a picture
I'm
of
not
him
actually
wearing an
big
Ash Ketchum
on a
hat with his
gambling
dog, Patty.
company
Above it is the title scribbled in
owning
Chris's
Kick,
incomprehensible handwriting, while underneath
especially
is the
a
most menacing
crypto
drawing of
gambling
Sonic the
one.
Hedgehog ever made. This
I'm
pattern of randomly drawing
I don't
Sonic's
fuck
head
with
continued
crypto
through the
bros.
project.
I
As
hate
in the
them.
first page of this assignment,
Well,
we
not
have this
all of them.
rendition of Sonic looking like
Just
he's
the
been run
ones
over
that
by a
just
Japanese bullet train.
are-
As for
there's
the
like
actual
meme
contents
coins
of
of the
Chris's
future.
paper, it details a pretty
They're not, they're
uneventful
dead.
week, with Chris helping his
Grow
parents
up.
move, sleeping during class,
You've
playing
lost your
Pokemon,
money.
and reading
Time to get
RL-style
out.
books. While most aspects of his life kept their monotonous rhythm, Sonichu festered in the deepest crevices of Christian's mind, taking on a myriad of different forms such as Dark Sonichu,
Yeah.
Surfing Sonichu, and Snowboarding Sonichu. A man for all seasons. By June, Chris graduated from high school, though it was not a good experience for him. In his Wikipedia autobiography, he
yeah.
said, "Graduation for me was a sad one then. I only got recognized for my grades with a
I
star
think
pin, yet they had
there's
more
only
fancy
maybe
rewards
one
for more
crypto
important
that
qualities.
has
I should have
potential,
been
and
highly
that's
recognized for my
Bitcoin.
artistic
Everything
talents.
else is
I showed
just
many
shit.
art classes
They
for the award
shouldn't
ceremonies
like
before
try
graduation
anything
day.
with it
I felt
anymore.
crestfallen greatly from not getting recognized for
Bitcoin
any
is
of my
probably the
talents.
only one
I
that
excelled
has
in math
any
too,
sort
for
of
the love
potential
God.
now.
I had gotten over the award ceremony on the graduation day, but to add lemon juice to an open wound, it was dark and rainy that day, and they handed out more talented awards right before handing out any diplomas. When I went up there to get mine, I was feeling depressed,
I
upset,
have no idea.
crestfallen, and ticked off. When the award was handed to me, I took it without looking anyone in the eye, and I did not shake anyone's hand. I just walked back to my seat in the graduating crowd. Then, soon after, I just walked the wrong way up the center aisle, found
should
an
probably
isolated
pay
table,
attention
and
to
cried
the video.
myself out. My mother found me later and comforted me. My father was so ashamed of the way I acted, and he would later still be angry at recalling the moment. Tiffany also found me and gave me a caring amount of condolences back there. I gave her a plush Psyduck as a graduating gift beforehand. But I left out two other reasons why I felt crestfallen at graduation. I never got the chance to ask Kelly out on a date, and more importantly, that I was leaving all my close gal friends behind. Soon after finishing high school, Chris would enroll in a community college, though at this point his priority was clearly Sonichu. In CWC's Poke site, he announced that a dedicated Sonichu page was in the works, and a logo for it was released.
Sonichu.
His indelible originality follows Sonichu and Rosechu with Chikachu and Meichu, the female versions
wow.
of Pikachu and Raichu respectively, though what function these pieces of OC serve is completely unknown. In October,
wow, I
the
wonder where
Sonichu
he
site
got
goes
all
live,
those
and it looks
ideas.
about how you'd expect. Zero improvement whatsoever in website creation since CWC's Poke site 2. As a matter of fact, the Sonichu website is mostly a carbon copy of the Poke site, mostly containing recycled material from it. At around the same time, Chris decides to further his commitment to the Sonichu
Oh,
IP
God.
and makes a Crayola medallion of Sonichu's head with his mouth covered with red sauce, like he just feasted on an order of glizzies. At the tail end of that year, he creates Sonichu's female counterpart, Rosechu, which is basically just Amy Rose from Sonic the Hedgehog with little if any changes to her appearance. All of this marks the beginning of Chris's rapidly deteriorating mental health, as his obsession kept growing into unhealthy and straight up odd directions, and he started putting on significant amounts of weight.
People have things
Though
they
the first half
obsess
of
over.
2001 was mostly
I don't
uneventful,
think
Chris
particularly
began working
have
at Wendy's
one.
in August, his job description being cleaning trays, tables, and carpet/tile flooring, keeping the place neat, and serving the customers with kind, understanding help. Just a couple of months after he was hired, however, he was let go. Chris claims this was due to emotional differences and that the manager had a spike on his shoulder against him. Over time, more concrete reasons for his dismissal began surfacing, such as drawing a coworker of his as an ugly Pokemon, or making a child cry by doing a terrifying impression of Donald Duck. Regardless, he made a total of $500 off the job before being fired. 2002 was a pretty uneventful year for Chris Chan's standards, with nothing much happening besides him turning 20 and developing a nigh unexplainable seething hatred for Harry Potter, apparently because it became more popular than Pokemon around that time. In a card he made of himself called Dark Christian, where his Pokemon type is autistic,
Dark
his
Christian.
ability is knocking out whoever says that they love Harry Potter more than they love.
Okay, sorry, it disconnected. Sorry, it disconnected for some reason. I am
Wrong.
also
was attending an
downloading
English
2
class
things:
at PBCC with this old male
updating in a
teacher. I
game
don't even
and
remember the son
downloading
of
another
his
game.
name. Anyway, on February 24th, 2003, the day of my 21st birthday,
The Dark
he had
Christian.
the nerve to kick me out of his class just because of my doggone autism. If I could do it over, I'd give him a swift kick, but then I might have gotten kicked out of PBCC, and violence is rarely the answer anyway.
Dark
Still,
Christian
though,
is
he
like
wrecked
a
my
very
turning 21
emo
angry face. The actual reason for him
Christian.
being kicked out of class is mostly unknown,
Not the
with
name,
Chris
the
sporadically
religion.
saying the teacher randomly ejected him from the class because he was autistic. A more believable iteration of this story happens in one of Chris's retellings of it, where he mentions that the topic of homosexuality came up in a group discussion.
Wait.
Story happens in one.
I think I've... Wait, what? I think I've...
randomly
What?
ejected him from the class
Hold on.
because he was autistic. A more believable iteration of
I
this
think I've
story
picked the
happens in one of
wrong
Chris's retellings
frames.
of it, where he mentions
My
that the
frames
topic
make
of
me look
homosexuality
very
came up in a
hot.
group discussion during class, and Chris, being the fancy gentleman we know him to be, said something offensive. Though we don't know what exactly it was, Chris expounded on it, saying, essentially, when it came to critiquing the papers of the other students, when they started talking about drug use and homosexual content, I wrote with exclamations you'd likely hear from a black person in church. He also emphasizes
Okay.
that the teacher, being a man, had something to do
I-
with it, and
I
how
don't know
whatever
what that
problems he
means.
was having in
Frames
English
make
class
me
went
look
away
hot?
once he retook the class with a female teacher. Chris also says without explanation that after that day, he realized he needed a female sweetheart. This was the beginning of what would be known as Chris's love quest. Initially, not much
Oh.
changed in Chris's general behavior.
Oh.
He continued to give CDs and gifts to his gal pals, and of course, they all included Sonichu in some form because he genuinely thought it was charming. Being romantically inspired, he wrote the first Sonichu story called Sonichu and Rosachu, the genesis of
Okay.
the Love Hogs. Though this story was not
Ah,
illustrated
nothing-
as the latter
nothing
entries
since
into the
flirting
Chris Chan cinematic
better
universe
than
would be, it
giving
provided
her your
revelatory
OC
insight into the
Sonic
inner workings of
character.
Sonichu's canon. According to this sacred
Original
text,
creation Sonic
Sonichu came to
cherish-
be when
character,
Chris
oh my god.
accidentally collided with a Pikachu that stood nearby as he fought a monster. Due to being charged with energy from the Chaos Emeralds, the Pikachu was permanently transformed into Sonichu. Rosechu, on the other hand, was a Raichu that happened to get hit with the rainbow that emitted from the creation of Sonichu. Eventually, for no reason other than Chris's tendency to insert everything from real life into his work,
I mean, look at this. Can you give this to a female that you want to date? Love me. Look, I can draw. Yes, 2 tails. He even messed up his own
Sonichu
creation.
and Rosechu kissed and became lovers. About a month later, as Chris resumed his community college classes for the 4th year, he came up with a brilliant idea to solve his problem. He posted up the very first attraction sign, which was
Oh
a resume to attract...
My god. 21 and single white male. Shy, smart. Yeah. Wait, is this gonna
girlfriend.
zoom
Sign
in?
read, 21 and single white
Okay,
male.
never mind.
Shy, smart, young at heart, computer skilled, humorous. A great thinker and go-getter. Natural salesperson. Enjoys good parts of life. Diplomatic,
Okay,
friendly, loves his
okay.
family. Peaceful,
Yeah.
very creative.
Mhm.
He's lonely. Seeking a cute 18 to
Okay,
21 single
all
female
right.
companion.
Hmm.
18 to
So, I mean, it's already like... This is really sad, putting out this poster. Like, I mean, why would you say you're shy? Like, if I didn't care that this is a poster and this people actually thought of this as a resume, then I mean, he sounds good. Except the creepy part is that he's seeking someone cute, 18 to 21. That's very
Creative.
creepy.
He's lonely, seeking a cute 18
If
to
I
21
ignore the
single
part
female
that this is a
companion.
poster
18
that
to
he
21
put.
years of age, does not already have a boyfriend.
Well, that's the point of trying to find someone, not to have a boyfriend.
Single, average to
Oh my
slender
God.
waist / body type, white, lives in Charlottesville or Ruckersville area, does not smoke or drink alcohol, happy, positive personality, average / high income.
Well, he's quirky.
Drives a vehicle. If any men read this huge sign, mind your own business. And to all men with girlfriends,
Okay.
except marrieds and blacks, go
Okay. Okay, he's racist. Oh wait, no, he's anti-racist. Ah, okay, at least he's not racist. That's good. Also, I guess I have to jump off a cliff. I have a girlfriend.
Go jump off a cliff. Have a nice day. You know, I would make fun of the fact that he requires the girl to be average to slender, have income, and drive a vehicle, despite Chris himself possessing none of those things. However, my standards have become so low due to the typical kind of person I cover in my videos that, honestly, I'm just glad he's looking for someone older than 18. Even lolcows used to have standards back then. They should strive to be more like Chris. Oh yeah, don't let me forget
That
to
is
mention that
true.
he also emblazoned this sign with
Oh
some
my
like
God.
white version of Sonichu, perhaps to signal how much importance he attributes to the girl being white. This month is also special because it's when Chris makes his debut as a recording artist, dropping his album Christian and the Hedgehog Boys. It's interesting to note that the cover includes Chris alongside Sonic and Sonichu in the foreground, while two black versions of Sonic, at least one of which is supposed to be Shadow the Hedgehog, are in the back, looking upset. The album boasts 8 tracks, all of which consist of Chris reciting parody lyrics over
He looks really normal, honestly. Like, yeah, he doesn't look as creepy. He just needs to fix up his hair, and then he becomes kind of normal. Actually, a bit handsome, but
actual songs,
he's surrounded
not even
by Sonic.
instrumentals, just full-on songs, ranging anywhere from Backstreet Boys to the Macarena. Seriously, just get a load of So Need a Cute Girl, Chris's rendition of the Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way.
Yeah.
I never wanna hear I have a boyfriend.
Another track, Best Friends Forever, is subliminally dedicated to the aforementioned Sarah Hammer, who at this point had
I mean,
a
he
boyfriend
doesn't look
whom
too
Chris was
nerdy,
jealous of. The lyrics are
but
quite
he's
interesting. You hang out with your new friends you made and your
good
boyfriend who
looking
acts
enough.
as a black Sonichu. It is your choice to go with them instead of me. Soon you'll realize you're not complete because I'm not there. If
Your friend who acts like a black Sonichu. What the hell does that mean? Okay. You're not complete because I'm not there. What is he? Jesus.
If it wasn't clear yet, Sonichu, along with pretty much every other character he made up, were either self-inserts or blatant wish fulfillment fantasies for Chris. Because of his utter inability to deal with the problems he was facing in his life, he articulated them through his OC. After a few months of his sign being posted up, without any takers as you'd expect, it was taken down by the dean of the college, Mary Lee Walsh. Chris had a few words to say about her. That evil witch, Mary Lee Walsh, mocked me and even crumbled my efforts and threw them into my face. It was serious, heart-shattering insults like that which literally shattered my heart to almost nothing and murdered my soul.
Okay,
Like, as if I didn't
Jesus, he's
already
taking it
understand that
so
love can't be hurried,
so
but they
much,
all left a
so
huge
hard.
impression among the general population that having a sweetheart was illegal in Virginia. Thus, Virginia is for virgins, not lovers. Despite Mary's best efforts,
I don't like
every
the
time she
fact
took
that
one of Chris'
this is in my hometown. My
signs
home
down, he
state.
just made more and more of them and posted them up around campus, even creating MySpace and Facebook pages to advertise his pursuit of a boyfriend-free
God.
girl. As
Virginia is not
2004
for lovers,
began,
by the
Chris
way. I don't
began
know where the
mulling
fuck
over
that came
idea of
from.
merging his writings with his drawings and making comic strips for his Sonichu stories. He also tries to negotiate with Mary Lee over emails, saying, "Mary, I've slept on it and I've realized that note hanging is not the way to get attention. And I don't really want to meet with either you nor Susan. No offense. I'll tell you what, let's forget the
Yeah, he
meeting.
feels
And
like
if you will allow my
he's
newsletter
the
to stay in
victim.
distribution, situation,
is
I will
what
do
I'm
all of
seeing.
the following. I will never hang
Like,
notes on the wall
taking
again. I'll
things
consider stopping my
too
silent treatment on
far.
Susan. I'll consider knocking
Like,
you
the
and
world's
Susan
out
up my
against
scale of
him.
respect, each by 2 points. 0 equals no respect, 10 equals respect. By newsletter, Chris means Sonichu's News
Respect,
Dash,
okay.
which he thought would more effectively attract girls by
Respectometer.
mesmerizing them with his artistic talent. Mary wisely chose to not engage with Chris's shenanigans, opting to just remind him of when his
Artistic
appointment was and leave it
talent.
at that. At said meeting, despite Chris's Saul Goodman tier bargaining skills, he was forbidden
Cannot.
from putting up signs as well as distributing his newsletter.
I don't
which
understand
deeply
his
embittered
art.
him, leading him to resent Mary and make her the primary villain of Sonichu's adventures from
Peak
then on.
artistic
In one of the
talent.
diary entries he would post to his no longer existent MySpace account, Chris wrote, "Mary Lee Walsh made it illegal to distribute the news dash. I am very angry at that." In response, I plan
honestly,
to incite the
I think
masses
this
and
kinda,
hopefully
like,
demands the return of the news dash
autism's
so my
fault.
chances on getting a girlfriend can be restored. I've also declared war on them as well.
Because, at least for my little brother, like, he takes things, too seriously sometimes. Like, things that the world's out to get him, which... I think that's what, his autism part.
About a month later,
Make-
he added that Mary
making
Lee was
things a
trying
lot
to get him
bigger
kicked out of
than they
college
have to be.
altogether for his stunts, though it's unknown the degree to which that's true, as Chris is a very unreliable
He just needs to
narrator, since
calm
he could
down
no
for a
longer
bit
attract the ladies in the college
and
campus.
forget about
he
it.
took his sign to the Charlottesville Fashion Square
But
Mall,
he's not.
though initially
He's doing the
seeming more
opposite.
promising than his Love Quest attempt in the college campus. It ran into problems at the mall as well. His diary entries go into detail. "I've just had my worst trip to the mall. I was working with my heart on a red string of fate when from out of the blue, a jerk cop shattered my heart and ripped up the red string. I am
I mean,
very
he's
mad and
showing, like,
upset
this
because
sign
that
where-
jerk took my idea for a fall,
where things
just like that
are much
expletive
bigger
at PVCC did."
than they
Before I
seem.
read on, I have to make a note here to explain that the red string of
At
fate
least
Chris
that
mentions
reminds me of
is
my little
referring
brother.
to a heart made out of paper that he would throw at girls at the mall, in the hopes they held onto it so that he could reel them in. If this sounds insane, it's because it is. Anyway, Chris continues, "I was not bothering anyone at the
Okay. Imagine you're just walking in the mall and then some random guy just throws you a random paper heart. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh god. Chris,
mall today
Chris,
while I was just
Chris.
trying to sell myself when I got arrested
Chris.
for trying. I fortunately did not go to jail, but I've been stripped of my right to go to the mall by myself. I would be required to bring my mom or dad with me. My independence and my soul were practically murdered.
Yeah,
this
this-
encounter inspired
this
him to
really
create
is
one of his most
in-
famous
this
terms,
really is reminding me of my little
jerk-offs,
brother
a
sometimes.
portmanteau of jerk and cops. From then on, whenever something bad happened to him, Chris would find a way to blame it on the jerk cops. He even made a Pokemon card for them. With a
If I
description
remember
reading,
correctly, I
"This
saw
copper fiend
Christian,
wants to shatter the virgin's heart by destroying
like,
his
from
tools for attracting
a-
a boyfriend-free woman."
was
Within
it
a week of his
5
arrest,
years
and
ago?
possibly because of it,
Like,
Chris
when
gets
I
suspended
first
from his college,
saw
saying,
Christian
"I got
or heard
suspended
of
from
him."
PBCC by the board, and I have that meddling expletive to
Because-
thank for this as well. I am super angry. My dad is
It's like someone
bloodthirsty
made a
for revenge as
popular
well.
video
He's
on
going to
him
write to
called
US
"The Most
President George
Documented
W. Bush Jr.
Documented
and Laura
Man"
Bush to help me get
on
allowed back to
YouTube.
PVCC. We all curse death upon Mary Lee Walsh. After this, both his diary entries and his attempts at the love quest died down for the time being, most likely due to his
remember
parents
that
telling him to
having,
cut back
like,
on it to avoid getting in even more trouble.
before the
In
whole
meantime, Chris was
arrested
mandated to
thing.
consult a psychiatrist for an evaluation as a result of his community college's board. It has a few
If I
noteworthy
remember
excerpts,
correctly.
such as, according to his parents, there have been a number of incidents which led to his suspension.
Honestly didn't
They
care
feel
why
strongly
he
that the
got
suspension
arrested, but
was
then found out
unwarranted
why.
and did not take into account the patient's developmental limitations. One such occurrence was during an interaction with African-American classmates. These young women were questioning the patient regarding his search for a girlfriend, at which point he told them they could not be his girlfriend because they were not white. This was
Okay.
received as
Alright,
racially
never mind,
insensitive,
he is-
although from the
he is
patient's
racist.
perspective, he was merely pointing
version
out
like
that they did not
equality.
meet the standard criteria for a female companion.
I mean, it just means that he's pure or something, but that's like saving himself for the one, because some people like believe that that's true. You should always save yourself for the one you are going to be with forever. But yeah, that's not true. Like, I have an ex.
To the surprise of many, the psychiatrist
They didn't
considered
stay
Chris
with
to be
her
dealing
because
with
she
his
became
autism
a
in
witch?
relatively healthy way, despite the occasional mischief he got up to. One interesting point that isn't brought up as a consequence of this document is the fact that both the love quest and Sonichu, Chris's two most destructive obsessions by far, only began manifesting after Chris began taking Paxil in 2000. Though I'm no specialist on the matter, some have said that Chris should not have been put on an antidepressant, let alone Paxil, which is the most potent SSRI available. Considering how mild his symptoms were up until that point, it would make a lot more sense for him to just have regular appointments with a psychologist instead of being medicated with no follow-up whatsoever. The psychiatrist that did this particular evaluation, however, was not of this opinion, and instead recommended that his dose of Paxil be increased from 20 milligrams to 30 milligrams daily.
Because you slept with someone else.
Chris improved by leaps and
But
bounds.
everyone's at least gonna
Regardless, the
sleep
rest of
with like more than
2004 was
one
quiet,
person
with the
at one
exception of a
point.
video Chris recorded in his bedroom singing a few of his songs, wherein he was wearing the outfit he would become almost exclusively associated with. Along with it, he is donning his esteemed Sonichu medallion, completing the Chris Chan uniform to a T.
Like, it is very rare to stay with the same person for, or the very first person you love.
2005 rolls around,
very
and a few posts
rare.
begin popping up on Chris's website, claiming to be hot chicks who have seen him at the mall, but didn't come up to him for one reason or another. Though few and far between at this point, these were Chris's first proper trolls, first of exceedingly many. However, one of the people that commented this wasn't joking. An actual girl witnessed what Chris was up to at the mall she worked at and decided to seek his website out. This was quite the event since, up until this moment, Chris never got the time of day from anyone, let alone a girl. Her name was Anna, and in a blog post titled "The Tale of the Crazy Pacer," she writes extensively about her encounter with Chris, saying, "Once upon a time there was a guy who paced in front of Abercrombie & Fitch. He'd come and do it for hours on end, just walking back and forth. He was an okay looking guy, not evil looking like creepy molester dude, so he would pace for his allotted time, then leave. Sometimes
Love
as he
is
paced, he would sing
difficult
or shout.
sometimes.
Nobody really could
It's
ever
not
tell
gonna
what he
be
was
perfect
saying.
the first
He
time.
always wore the
Sometimes
same
it
shirt,
takes a
nice
few
little
tries.
long-sleeved red and blue number that had a gold crest on the left side and a white collar and cuffs. Someone, I can't remember who, suggested that the next time he looked in, we wave at him. Whoever suggested it should die, unless it was me, in which case I feel I've received enough punishment. Of course, he looked in and we all waved at him. He looked kind of bewildered and sort of scared at first, but quickly caught on and waved back. So we went about our business, doing floor set and junks, and a little while later he came in. I was kind of apprehensive about this. I mean, I had been doing floor set all day and I didn't really feel up to dealing with another crazy, but he came right up to the counter I was standing behind, and he looks right at me, all fidgety and twitchy, and this conversation ensued. Chris. He looked to be about 19 years old, right? I busted out laughing because he guessed it right. That's exactly right. See, I know these things. I can just tell how old someone is, he said, kind of proud and still timid at the same time. My name is Christian, but you can call me Chris. I'm Christian W. Chandler. Oh, hi, Chris. So, do angels have names? I found out later that he meant to say, do angels like you have names? Poor guy was so nervous he didn't get it right. Probably, but I don't know. Well, what's your name? Sorry, I don't go for pickup lines, I replied, kind of laughing. His face kind of fell and I felt sorry for him, but he pressed on. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. I was just asking your name. So what is your name? My name is Anna. Okay, well, Anna, is there any way I could, get your phone number and maybe I could give you a call sometime? No. Well, do you want my phone number then? You can call me on my cell phone. No thanks. So, do you have a boyfriend, Anna? No, I'm not looking for one, though. All right, well,
oh my
do you
god,
have
this
access
is
to the
really
internet?
oh my
Yes.
god, he's still trying.
Okay,
Stop.
hold on one second, I'll be right back. I nodded, and he went back to his spot
Stop.
where he kept his 2 tote bags and his Sam's Club cup. So
Stop
Christian
it,
came
Christian.
back and handed me a card with a crudely drawn Sonic the Hedgehog
Oh my
and some
god,
other yellow
Christian,
Sonic-looking creature
why?
on it, along with Christian's name, email address, and website. It was a
Oh my
homemade business
god.
card. That's my email address, and you can just email me sometime, okay? Okay, I said, not intending to email him at all. Despite how awkward these exchanges self-evidently were, you gotta give it up for Chris's autistic riz, even if just a little bit. For a guy with as many setbacks as him, he handled the situation with more dignity than expected. Many guys today are afraid to even approach a girl. On March 24th, he released one of the earliest proper comic book productions, Sonichu Adventure Sub-Episode 1, dubbed Jerkop-tastrophe. Despite being called Sonichu Adventure, it's mostly just about Chris himself, retelling the story about being banned from a mall. On March 29th, an update to his love quest is posted to his diary. Well, at the mall today, my heart had an extremely fast recovery. Then it became majorly shattered again. I went to the mall like normal. I picked up some chicken nuggets and a drink. Then I went to my spot. I pulled up a chair to sit and eat my food. Then from out of the blue, this cute girl approached me and she asked me if I was looking for a girlfriend. Her name was Hannah and she was 18 years old. I said yes and we small talked for a bit. Then she invited me over to Starbucks for coffee. After she left, I became very excited and oh my god, all over. After calling mom and eating my nuggets, I lifted the chair with such cheer and grace and spun around with it like a
That's
dancer.
cute,
Then I
I
put
guess.
it back where it was. I felt that my
Mom.
love quest had finally come to an end, and I so elated that my shattered heart had a full fast recovery. I went to Starbucks and we talked about basic things. I showed her my Sonichu scrapbook. She was very impressed. I gave her my email and both my phone numbers
Okay.
on a Sonichu site card, and she gave me her email
Alright.
address. I was very attentive as I took notes about her and maintained eye contact. As I left her, I gave a double take flirt. That was the rise. Now here comes the fall. As I was sitting at my spot thinking
I
about
mean, it
future
is
steps for
cute to
later
call your
dates,
mom
Anna and
after,
Dana
like,
told me that when they talked to Hannah, she told them she
love,
was setting me up in a
I
prank.
guess.
I could not believe it, so I found and asked Hannah. Sadly,
Honestly, let me see.
it was true. Then in
13
major
minutes.
shock, Anna and Dana told me that when they talked to Hannah, she told them that she was setting me up in a prank. I could not believe it.
It's
so
a
I found
different
and asked
version of
Hannah.
Call of
Sadly,
Duty 2,
it was
'cause I
true.
will
Then
play
in major
that.
shock, my heart shattered again by
I will.
85%, and I let out a big
Yes,
no.
though I'll have to do it tomorrow.
After that shout, I got kicked out again, and I'm still without the Fashion Square shopping center
I
that
will
I've grown
try
accustomed
and
to
find a
after my
free
whole
version
life.
of Modern Warfare
So my
2.
love quest has restarted, and as for that date of ours,
'Cause I'm
I'll
not
always
paying
remember it, but as far as
$40
I'm
for that
concerned,
shit.
It does not
Fuck
count as
that.
my first date. I was not as happy as I was today in a long time. I'm once again heart shattered and sad, but I will not give up on my love quest because there has to be one true boyfriend,
OG one, not the new one.
non-pranking girl out there somewhere. Poor guy really cannot catch a break. Around this time, Chris finished Sonichu number 0, the first proper edition of the comic book series. The hand-drawn premiere issue, as he puts it. The stories in it were mostly reworkings of previous standalone comic strips, complete with nonsensical
Like, that's
plots
stupid.
and
At least sell it for,
nightmarishly
like,
ugly
$10.
artwork that Chris Chan later
Then
became
I would pay
synonymous
for
with.
that.
He also begins drawing new Sonichu
It's
releases
been
during his
what-
public outings for his
it
love
was
quest,
made in
and is even
2009,
noticed by someone
so-
who gives probably one of the best summaries of Chris Chan as
Alright.
essence at this point in their blog post. So Sonichu returned to
So
Alderman
14
today.
years.
I'm not
It's
sure
been
what to make
14
of it.
years,
He
you're
sits
still
in his
selling
chair
it
and
at
draws
$40.
Sonichu comics,
Some indie
harmless, I
games aren't
assume,
that
yet
much.
I feel like he knows he's different. He knows that the world rushing in front of him
And
is
they
not his
deserve a lot
own.
more.
Surrounded by the brightest students in America, whatever that means, he sits in his chair and draws, 23 years old. I'm not sure he even graduated high school. In front of him, texts of Plato, Faulkner, God, and Kleist swirl. Does he have the capacity to understand these works? Whether he can or not, I'm not sure.
And
but there is
I'm
something
not
in his eyes that
paying
realizes that there is
$60
a level of understanding and thought
for the
that he is
remake.
unable to
That
partake in.
sucks.
As he
I don't
slumps
like
lower
it.
and lower in his chair, with each student he eyes reading or holding a book, he falls into himself, into the markers and colors on the page in front of him. He
They
seems
ruined
intelligent
it
enough
so
to
much.
understand that he does not understand, and that is the hardest part of all. I never thought I'd see Chris be described this poetically in my life. I suppose there's a first time for everything. Amidst these sightings, Chris decides to go to the Mid-Atlantic Anime Convention, where he took a few
It's
printed
alright.
copies of Sonichu
Actually,
number
I'll
0 and
stand- I'll
distributed
end
them
in
to
like
whoever
8
would accept.
minutes.
As his love quest sinks to new lows, Chris gets kicked out from the local McDonald's, where he's also been conducting his attraction sign experiments. I'll spare you from hearing the diary
Okay.
entry in its full extent, but the Managerks, Chris's nickname for the managers, started
Yeah, the
calling
internet
cops
kinda
on Chris
sucks.
for loitering in their establishment. In later Sonichu
Yeah,
episodes, the
take care,
manager received
cancer.
in-universe stand-ins. One of them was
Have a
named
nice
Mary
time.
Senor
Good
Comic,
night, sweet
an alias
dreams.
which is completely unexplainable to anyone with a functioning brain, and for no apparent reason, had robot arms and legs. After
Yeah, I
Mary
remember
Senor,
that.
Chris's creativity must have run out, since the other one was just succinctly referred to as Black Fat Jerk, on account of the fact
Okay.
that, to Chris, that's all he really was. If his diary entry is anything to go by, Chris began explaining
Give
his
me the
situation to them in
necklace.
song
Oh
and
my
dance.
God.
When one of the managers asked Chris to just have a normal conversation with him, he sat silent for a minute until he came up with possibly the most schizophrenic own ever
You
uttered.
too
I
have
do not
some
speak
nice
to any
streams.
man other than myself, because they have all taken the pretty
Oh
girls
my
and leaving
God.
me with none.
Oh
What a
my God,
wordsmith.
Chris.
He followed this up by giving them verbal punishment, the finger, and last but not least, curse Yehamehas. What's a curse Yehameha?
God, he's such
you
a
may
nice
ask?
guy.
Well, luckily for us, Chris has demonstrated in video.
Curse
A month later, a similar situation played out at Target as the managers called the cops on Chris. He claims that as he was about to give them a prepared speech, 5 cops chased him down, pulled his pants, handcuffed his wrists and legs, and hogtied him. After being briefly taken to county jail, Chris was given a court date for disorderly conduct and trespassing. Later on, he dramatized the situation in a Sonichu comic, as he always did. Fortunately for Chris, after 2 hearings, he was given a $30 fine and had to pay $56 in costs. Within a week of the Target fiasco, he was once again arrested for following too close while driving. And yes, at this point he was a licensed driver, if you can believe it. After his suspension from college was lifted and he started regularly interacting with
Man, how
licensed
old is he?
drivers.
Date of birth 1982. Wait, Jesus, no. Okay.
if you
He's
can believe
older
it.
than I
After
thought.
his suspension from college was lifted and he started regularly interacting with other people his age again, things relaxed a bit for a while as advances were made in the love quest. After bidding goodbye to Anna, who moved to Utah, Chris makes a few more attempts at finding a date over MySpace messages, mostly to no avail. The first one was Jelena, who turned him down because he seemed too desperate. Then came Lindsay, who consistently rescheduled her dates over the course of 2 months in order to never actually have to see Chris in real life. Overall, things seemed dire for our brave hero. But it was around this time that he began to rouse online attention, with a thread on a Sega forum centered around Sonichu popping up. Earlier that year, YouTube was created, so the golden age of Chris Chan was at the gates. Meanwhile, he was getting some traction in his emails. Though his application to become an official Nintendo game tester was rejected, Chris got into regular correspondence with a girl named Megan. On the 1st of November, Megan emailed Chris asking him to buy an episode of Tits with a girl named Megan. On the 1st of November, Megan emailed Chris asking him to buy an episode of Tintin on eBay for her. They had already met in person before in a video game convention a year prior, but it wasn't until these emails at the tail end of 2005 that Chris grew obsessed with her. Though she clarified from the get-go that she wasn't interested in Chris, or anyone for that matter, in a romantic way, this didn't deter Chris, who clearly saw her as a love interest and continued to invite her on dates. To date, Megan was probably the person who had been the nicest and most patient with Chris. 2006 marked a significant rise in Chris buying the most random, useless garbage from eBay, from My Little Pony and Sailor Moon paraphernalia to German World War II photos.
What?
Apparently, all of the purchases were influenced by Sailor Moon paraphernalia to German World War II photos.
German? Loveliness.
Apparently, all of the purchases were influenced by Megan's interests. Based on their emails, we know that Megan was into MLP, Sailor Moon, and for some mysterious reason, Wehrmacht soldiers from World War II. Considering how desperate Chris was to
That's a nice combination of things to like.
Get a girlfriend, it's surprising he didn't start LARPing as a Nazi to impress her. Eventually, he got her a Nintendo DS, which she turned down due to the fact that she already had one she bought herself. While Chris was busy spinning his wheels into the mud during his love quest by chasing after an uninterested Megan, he managed to graduate from community college, getting a degree in computer-aided drafting and design. Over time, Chris began wearing her down, continually being pushy about wanting to date her despite her repeatedly saying she wasn't interested. Most likely because of this, Megan severely limited the amount of times they met up in real life, saying she wasn't interested, began wearing her down.
It's not your fault. You don't have to get Brent. We'll get Crystal back. I'm just glad you're safe. You're the sweetest girl I know. I'd hate to lose you too. Christian, oh wait, I've read so much manga, never mind. Christian, I thought I was gonna lose you. I'd feel just terrible if I lost my friend who I really like. I'm also sad that your sister fell in and
date her despite her repeatedly saying she wasn't interested. Most likely because of this, Megan severely limited the amount of times they met up in real life to once a week. And even then, Chris would take that as an opportunity to be as handsy as possible, which she obviously wasn't okay with. After months of this dynamic going back and forth, Chris overstepped a few boundaries when he started complaining about Megan being friendly with other guys. This was grating for her since not only were they not dating, but she was also not interested in the guys Chris was paranoid about. This caused her to email him in a slightly stricter tone, saying, "I don't want to have to tell you again or I might get really angry, because you know unwanted remarks or advances to a girl is sexual harassment, and I don't take that lightly, okay? So can you understand now?"
I saw this happen in real life once.
Me to like you. Like Sailor Moon, for example.
Where,
the only Sailor Moon thing
this one guy liked a girl and he used his fear to get close, her fear to get close to her. He's like, "Oh, isn't it funny that the thing that I'm doing the thing you're most afraid of? Don't you love me for this?" It was so fucking cringy. I hated seeing that.
Adult video,
and then like she just started yelling at him and saying, "Fuck off!
That kind of
I
really
will fucking abandon
you. Make it
you.
sound like I have to get your
Stop
approval
doing
to be
this
that kind
fucking
of friendly
shit."
to someone."
And then he just, oh god, he just ran away. That was the cringiest thing I've ever seen.
Rather disappointed about those remarks. And you already know I don't love you, so why do you make yourself unhappy by holding grudges and trying so hard to win me over? So please, if you really want to make me happy, please let me make my own decisions and figure out my own life, okay? Besides, even if I had a boyfriend, what makes you think I'll stop being friends with you? I'm not that kind of person who'd say, "Well, I have a boyfriend now, so see ya." No, I'm not that kind of bitchy girl. You know I haven't talked to this person in a year. I'm not really wanting to get together with him either. Boyfriends aren't for me. Don't want them, don't need them. However, I can't say I like how much you call him a lucky jerk. Why is he a jerk? Why do you call all guys that? Because they take all the pretty girls, leaving you none to choose from? Hate to be blunt, but that's a pathetic way to think. You don't go to a mall and buy a girlfriend. The thing is, guys didn't
That's
take
right,
all the girls.
sister,
The
do
girls
that.
just didn't choose you.
Slay
Quit blaming
him.
other men. Personally, I think you shouldn't be so picky about what they look like. All you say is you want a pretty girl. Well, it's the inside that counts. After all,
It
a pretty girl
does.
can have the personality of Satan. Meanwhile,
Exactly.
an ugly girl may have a heart of gold, but you wouldn't even give a second look, would you? I often wonder, if I was an ugly girl, you wouldn't even come near me, would you? Little did poor Megan know that the powers of the Chaos Emeralds render Chris impervious to reality checks of any nature. While this drama ensued, Chris never stopped cranking out new issues of Sonichu, all containing the same themes recycled over and over again, such as Sonichu's enemies always being conspicuously black, the text bubbles being randomly
Oh
placed
my
on the
God.
page with no discernible reading order, Chris vicariously defeating his real-life opponents such as Mary Lee Walsh and the guy who Sarah Hammer dated instead of him, so on and so
The dame comes with me. What's the Okay, so
forth.
Sonic's just
What
down
was
there.
noticeable in the later episodes was that, progressively, Sonichu became a secondary character in his own comic, with the protagonist becoming Chris himself. Sonichu's function was primarily to serve and protect Chris, and every once in a while symbolically represent who he wanted to be. Additionally,
Oh
other
my
than real-life people.
god. The Sonic the anime, Sonic X. The little guy was Chris. The child's name was Chris. I never fucking noticed that.
People, Chris also added a
Is it-
character called Crystal West.
No, there's no fucking way. There's no way. Hello, Ronnie. Okay, but I thought... Okay, thankfully.
Weston Chandler, a
But the
female
thing
version
is-
of himself that seems to simultaneously
God, that's such like an ego boost if he ever saw Sonic X. He's like, oh shit, that's me. He's probably gonna say
fulfill
like,
the ideal
oh
role
god,
of the mom, the ideal
that annoying
daughter,
guy,
the ideal
little kid
sister,
in the
and
Sonic
ideal
X
girlfriend.
animated
The fact
series,
that this guy
that's
wasn't
me.
regularly seeing a therapist
welcome,
is a
Ronnie.
travesty, to be honest. As Megan put a healthy amount of distance between herself and Chris, his eBay purchases started drifting towards the salacious. Items include Bootylicious Love Doll,
Oh
Pearl
my
Beaded
God.
Prolong Ring, Nina Hartley's Guide to Sex Toys,
What?
Bootylicious Love Doll,
Pearl beaded prolonged ring. What is that? What?
Pearl Beaded Prolong Ring, Nina Hartley's Guide to Sex Toys, and my personal favorite, Space Nuts. After years of frustration,
Space
Chris began
Nuts.
taking matters into his own hands, and following this general theme, he also decided
Space
to give up
Nuts.
on Santa, since for the past 3 years, he was asking for a girlfriend which Santa never delivered. 2007 begins, and Chris begins working on a new project
love
called
Santa
Yep,
gives
I'm on
out
TV,
girls like
which
that.
consists of
Santa
videos
would
he had
be
recorded on VHS tapes burned onto a DVD.
Santa
Of
would be a
course, he
human
had no
trafficker
idea
at that
how
point.
valuable an archive of his activities would eventually become, and most likely he just did this out of his narcissistic self-obsession with every moment of his life. Later on, the leaking of this DVD was of great assistance to those interested in the CWC lore. But at the very end of this highlight reel about Chris's life, there was one video filmed solely for the purposes of being put into the DVD called Christian Weston Chandler's Future Message.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, and dudes of all teenagers.
In this 9-minute long prophetic manifesto, Chris summarizes the lessons he had learned up until this point. He did this because, ideally, he wanted this video to be played in schools. In it, he goes on about why going to school isn't torture, why drinking and smoking are bad, the extreme importance of
This is gonna be like part 1. If I'm ever like tired or a game doesn't work, then I'm gonna watch this.
staying straight, and last but not least, that girls should consider dating uglier guys because they will have a better personality and a brighter future. It's around this time that Chris reconnects with Cole, his previously mentioned half-brother, to offer him a copy of his autobiographical DVD. For the first half of the year, it's business as usual for Chris, who continues to exchange
There's
emails
so
with
much to
Megan, where she
Christian.
continually complains
Oh
about
my
him
God.
touching her when she doesn't want him to. By
Oh my
June,
God.
she leaves for
Okay,
Kentucky,
Chris,
and
come
Chris
on.
misses her dearly since she was pretty much the only female he could get close to that wasn't his mom. This wasn't the only thing causing him to be upset, though, is by the end of June, Chris's dog Patty, that he had had since 1988, had to be put down. He even wrote his dog a eulogy, saying, "When Patty was brought to the vet on that faithful day, I was distraught with fright and concern for her health. I stayed with her during her final moments with my hand on her head and a tear in my eye. When my mother was brought the paper that gave the doctor permission to send her on her way, I didn't want her to be the one to sign it. I raised Patty since she was a 6-week-old pup, and I wanted to take the strain for signing the one-way ticket.
I have
It
a
was hard
dog.
for me, but it
This
was for the
hits.
best. So
I don't
signed
want
that paper,
him to
and
ever
crying
die,
saw
but
on
I
his
know
face
that's
saying,
impossible.
"We love you, Patty." After that, I gave her my final pets: hug, hand to paw hold, eye contact, ear rub, cheek to fur rub, and I sadly waved her for the final time, and I said, "Goodbye, Patty. I love you."
I don't
As
know if
stood
I could do
outside,
this.
I heard Patty's last bark saying, "I will always love you,
I
Chris."
can watch
Thank
cringe,
you.
but I can't watch
Regardless
sadness.
of how thorny and problematic of an individual Chris Chan is, losing a pet you've had for that long is tough, especially
It is.
considering how
It
few and
so
far
is.
between were his sources of affection. Patty must have meant a lot for him, and it's hard not to feel for the guy. But let's not dwell on this for too long, because Chris did not either. By July, Christian had entered a contest called Chop Chop
shit.
Master Onion's
Oh shit, I played this game. Except it didn't work. It is from 7 months ago. I know that he's like out, I think, or I forgot what. I forgot something else. I think he is out. I don't remember. I think he tried to be a streamer or something. Because I remember seeing like news about that.
Rap Showdown, which was created to promote the Parappa the Rapper game that was coming out that year. The grand prize was 2 PSPs and an all-expenses-paid trip to Seattle for the 2007 Penny Arcade Expo,
I fucking hate
which
this
Chris
game.
was hoping to use in
This
order
game
to
is
seduce
bullshit.
Megan out of Kentucky and back into his arms. Well, not quite back since she was never there. Anyway, this is Chris's entry if you were curious.
AP Station. My name is Christian Chandler. I live in Bucksville, Virginia. I have a PSP.
Oh my God.
I play with the rapper.
Oh my God.
Now, the only song I know is Master Onion.
Wait,
July was also a very active
hold on. Wait, why isn't my mic picking up? Hello? Okay. Yeah, I
month
saw
for
that
his
my mic
eBay,
wasn't
and he
picking up.
bought plenty of more sex dolls, adult videos, and masturbation.
Officer Nasty Fantasy Doll, oh my god. The best of amateur angels. Automatic coupon. Get crystal teaser glass dildo or best of amateur angels DVD set. With only, oh, that's such a nice deal.
Aids of all kinds. Mind you, all of these trinkets, gizmos, and gadgets were bought on the credit card of a nearly 80-year-old Bob.
Oh
Whenever he
my
wasn't getting
God.
busy with those, he was emailing every person he'd ever interacted with in his life to vote for his Parappa the Rapper contest entry so that he'd win the prize. He even tried Cole, but to no avail, since he seemed to be interested exclusively in trashing Chris's parents. This technique must have proved effective since his video made it to the final rounds, but in early August, it was made public that the winner of the contest was not Chris, but a guy named Adam Stackhouse. Chris would put in his 2 cents about this unfavorable result. That stupid, no good Adam Stackhouse won the trip. He had music and more than one person in his video, which were in violation of the official rules. 3 other videos out of the remaining 9, Apraluski, Brutal, and Soria Buckwald all violated the official rules as well. Those 7 people of those 4 videos should have been disqualified. Period. I am so angry of the fact that the PlayStation Company and their promotional associates will not do anything to bring these violators to justice. Sworn on my autism, justice will be served to these 7 people of those 4 videos. Of course, while accusing other people of
that's
cheating, Chris
probably
overlooked
the
the
most
fact that he
unique
himself
swear.
had made over 120 fake
You know,
accounts
people like to
vote for
swear on
himself,
God,
as he
but
admitted in an email to Megan.
he'll swear on
Also,
his
it claims that
autism.
Adam's video had music are based on the facts that Adam beatboxed, which hardly qualifies. In any event, his tirades continued over at his PSN blog. This is directed mostly to Adam Stackhouse, the SOB who was the alphabetically first video in the Parappa contest and got wrongfully the big prize. I loathe Adam and his sister for stealing my one chance at taking my sweet gal friend to Seattle. It would have been terrific. I might have even been able to change her outlook on not planning on having children.
Oh my
She and I
God.
are both virgins, although
Oh
I
my
am a
God.
frustrated, high-functionally autistic 25-year-old
Does she
virgin.
even-
I don't have
she
much
doesn't
going on
even
for me,
like you,
really, because
dude.
I have been the dog in America's favorite game, Kick the Autistic, for my whole life. I curse those 7 people between the cast of the 3 illegal videos to die and burn. As for Adam, if he's reading this and is asking, "You've got something to say to me?" I do. P.S. Fuck you, you dream-smashing son of a bitch.
Isn't
One thing I've
Adam like a
neglected to mention
child?
Is that while Megan was
And
away
then
in
he's an
Kentucky, she wasn't
grown-ass
checking her
adult
emails,
at this
so she had
time.
no idea what kind of garbage Chris was filling her inbox with. When she returned and saw what he had been up to, she once again tried her very best to shut Chris down. I just want to say that your behavior has irritated me for the last time. First, I'll start off
Yeah,
with
he's
saying
a
that I'm
very
glad you
nice
didn't win
guy.
the contest, because I have no interest in going on a trip alone with someone who can't keep his hands off me. I'm not your girlfriend and I never will be. When I say don't touch me, that means don't touch me. What may seem friendly to you is sexual harassment to me. You whine that you're just being friendly, but you obviously have no consideration for my feelings. Also, I can't say I like how you use my photo in your video and on the cover of your comic book. I want them removed from the internet immediately. Since I'm not a MySpace member, I can't view what you post. If there are any photos of me on your blog, I want them removed. And I don't like your Megan obsession. I don't like being a character in your comics. I don't like how you made me a character in Soul Calibur and Animal Crossing. That kind of behavior really freaks me out. With all that said, we're down to two options. A, we remain friends and only friends, period, as in no more touching me, following me, asking me personal questions and giving me things. We can still battle and trade cards and talk. Or B, never see me again. I'm sorry it's come down to this, but I've told you repeatedly in a nice way to stop, but you've never listened. I hope you will finally take what I just said into serious consideration and now know that if you try your advances again, I won't be very nice about it. Despite how clear Megan was being, it would once again fall on mostly deaf ears, as Chris would reply with another email
Oh
titled,
my
"Ouch,
God.
my heart."
Are you
Trying his
fucking
hardest to
kidding?
guilt trip and yapping about it, Chris
You
would reply
fucking
with another-
kidding me? Really? So smart, so brave. The way she doesn't want to see me anymore. God, I
email
love her.
titled, "Ouch, my heart." Trying his hardest to guilt trip and yakking about his love quest once again, concluding
Oh
it with
my
a
God, what
declaration
the
of his
fuck?
love for her.
Come on,
a couple
Chris.
of weeks go by and Chris continues sending her love mail, all while purchasing more and
Oh
more
my
sex
God.
dolls. Eventually, it seems he did take what Megan said to heart and complied with her demands, and she thanks him for it. The peace treaty between them didn't last very long after Chris began expressing his distaste for one of Megan's friends who happened to be gay. After being confronted by Megan about it, Chris replied, "Originally, I was not fond of him because it was obvious that he was a homo. Yes, I am a homophobe. I fear them all, and I fear the tormenting temptations of falling off the straight path. But then I mentally, sometimes from a DVD, and if you'll pardon the expression, shove some pussy in my face. I'll tell you what, if I ever stoop down to changing my path, I might as well would get a gender change operation." What a prophetic statement from Mr. Chandler. By some miracle, Megan is once
that's
again
the only
tolerant
thing
and
I know
patient with
about
him,
Chris
saying
Chan.
she understands
Holy
why he's
shit.
like this, since she also had a tough time in high school and felt very lonely. In that same month, a new dimension to the CWC story
like
was
he
revealed.
tried to become
as for
a
the
girl,
very
if I
first
remember
time,
correctly.
An online community took note of his existence. On a thread about Eulilia
That's the only
on the
thing I
website
really know
Something
about
Awful,
Chris Chan.
Chris gets brought up, along with his Sonichu comics. Soon, he gets his own dedicated thread titled Sonichu and His Quest for a Boyfriend-Free Girl. After 2 decades of people either pitying or distancing themselves from him
so
due to his eccentric
foreshadowing.
sensibilities, Chris finally finds his niche, a target audience of people who relish in how strange and demented he is. In the thread, people point out how his website looks like a visual rendition of a grand mal seizure. Some even theorize that there was no way everything CWC made was this naturally awful, and that he must have been doing it on purpose as a really elaborate prank or performance art piece. But a handful of the users actually had experienced Chris in person. One user said, "I posted in the other thread, but I've seen this guy in real life. This is no prank. He used to go to the college I attended until he got kicked out. If anyone here is from Charlottesville, Virginia, you may have seen him also. He hangs around the UVA Alderman Library and the Fashion Square Mall. I had seen him around campus and just thought he was in an anime club or something. I never saw him with his signs. I learned a lot more about him when he messaged my sister on MySpace and invited her out for a soda. She declined and he became increasingly more harassive towards her until she blocked him. Yes, he wears that Sonichu necklace around everywhere he goes." People slowly realized that Chris was definitely not your run-of-the-mill internet weirdo. Not only was it evident he was a special kind of... well,
God,
special,
he was so
but no one up
close when
until
I
that
was a
point had
child.
probed the depths of the Quickiverse. Despite how small of a community there was around Chris and Sonichu at the time,
Like
it
when
was
I
like
was
stumbling
around
into
5
King
years
Tut's
old,
tomb
I
and
didn't
finding
know I
mountains
lived
of
so
archaeological
close to some
artifacts that
guy
had been
like
hidden
this.
away from the world for centuries. The same user from the previous post found and shared an updated and enhanced version of the attraction sign on Chris's website. This edition included a list of Chris's turnoffs, which are the following: smokers, real drunk alcoholics, gone to Moe's often, current/previous mothers, members, I support them fully, but I would not feel comfortable walking into a previously made family. I would feel more comfortable starting fresh and having my own children. Real ugly women, currently over 230 pounds, the low functionally mentally handicapped, the seriously physically deformed, autistic, high functional or otherwise. Although I myself am high functionally autistic, but that's besides the point. Medium or dark chocolate, police women. What stands out, firstly, is the amount of hypocrisy in this list. Not only does he exclude the ugly, fat, and autistic, all of them
Wasn't
being
one of his videos like a police woman one?
With, but he says police women are a turnoff when, at this point, he had bought a total of 3 cop-themed blow-up dolls.
exactly.
He also mentions that mothers are a turnoff, but I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I'll save that wretched can of worms for later. In the dark underbelly of the internet, news travels at light speed. And just a little after CWC's debut as a lolcow in the Something Awful forums, discussions about him sprung up in the cartoon and video game boards on 4chan. Unfortunately, because these were from so long ago that 4chan didn't have the reputation it currently has, and consequently, almost nobody archived what went on, we don't have all of this chatter saved. Regardless, we can imagine the kind of discussions that were going on. A few days after the word of Chris Chan had been spread around, someone named Evan from the cartoons board emailed Chris saying, "This is some fan art of Sonichu my friends and I have drawn.
I just know that he tried to become a woman."
One of the attached images seemed to be a GIF that depicted Chris in a staring match with a Sonic-like figure, and that was the only attachment that wasn't a veiled troll. The first one was a drawing of Chris in his love quest with a sign that said, "No darkies," while the other 2 were NSFW renditions of Chris and Sonichu doing unspeakable acts. Because of his infinite naivete, Chris replied, saying, "Thank you for your fan art contributions. In constructive criticism, I like the one with me in the girlfriend auditions, as well as my glaring in the eyes of the blue guy. But I am feeling great to test towards the other 2. Sonichu and I are not of that nature at all. If you would like to make it up to me, though, please draw a strip of Rosachu stripping for Sonichu, and have him f*** her, and draw Rosachu masturbating and squirting." Emphasis added. "I am straight, damn it. I will not be veered in any other disgustingly grotesque direction. Again, most nasty fan arts are not appreciated at all. Please feel free to share that quote with the rest of the fans. Sincerely, Christian Weston Chandler." Attached was an image of Chris and Sonichu staring menacingly, subtitled by the phrase, "We're keeping track." It's bad enough that Chris likes the No Darkies image, but the Rosachu hentai request signals a major shift that Chris was undergoing at this time. From oddball virgin to corrupt perverts. Evan obeyed his wish, but with a twist. Much to Chris's surprise and chagrin, Rosachu was depicted as having a giant penis. Chris replied, "Do me a favor, draw a vagina on Rosachu. Rosachu is a girl. She never had a freaking pickle. If I see one more freaking pickle, and you may spread this quote to other adult fan artists, I will create you in Soul Calibur 3 and beat you up like there's no tomorrow." To which Evan responded with a simple "uh-oh," along with another MS Paint drawing of Rosachu holding a pickle, this time literally and not figuratively. This trolling conflagration hit its peak when an article about Chris went up on Encyclopedia Dramatica. After being informed about it by 2 people who seemed to genuinely care, Chris claimed that the article caused him to have the worst weekend of his life, saying a hacking terrorist group, Anonymous, and 4chan are somehow involved in that page. When the article itself mostly went over the things we've already covered, it did so in the typical ED fashion, rife with insulting expletives directed at Chris and his creations. Along with it came a few people trolling on his email, but no one really got to him besides Evan, probably because Chris's attention was directed elsewhere. All of this obviously upset him, and a couple of days later, he expressed his disapproval of the ED page in an uncharacteristically polite and genuine way that it's hard not to sympathize with him. In the video titled Chris Chan's Public Announcement, he simply asked that the page be rewritten in a more favorable light, suggesting edits such as including his family history. According to his headcanon, he was a descendant of Anne Boleyn on his mother's part, despite the fact that Anne Boleyn never had any children. Additionally, he claims to be 1/16th Cherokee through his father, saying, "We're a respected tribe." After apologizing for anything he could have possibly done that wasn't nice, he asks that the page be taken down. Much later, Chris relayed on emails that during this time, he and his mother were badgering the management of the game place for CCTV footage to try and figure out who took that picture of him that was featured on the ED article, which they deduced must be the same person who wrote it. However, they stopped once the owner of the place threatened to ban him for a month. It's really funny how Chris isn't afraid of being arrested by actual cops like he was at Target, but if someone merely suggests taking away his ability to play Pokemon cards with preteens for a single month, he folds just like that. On November 10th, an image of Goatsy was was added to the article's gallery of images above the caption, "The true brains behind Chris Chan," and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. That set him off to make an account and try to edit it into a positive light himself. Emphasis on the word try.
You can send me to jail.
Christian is capable of making
Do
himself
anything.
look better. He removes
But
goatee
my
along with
Yu-Gi-Oh
words
cards,
like
you cannot
retarded
take
and
those
scary
away.
because he doesn't like them. In the section about Evan's trolling, he replaces the phrase masturbation and squirtin' with just masturbate, and added a couple of notes that said, "Every person is doing it," and relief, with a smiley face next to it. In an attempt to defend himself from the accusations that he was racist, Chris edited in the following section. He's also old-fashioned in his idea of a sweetheart. She is not black. He is cool with adoption, but his dream of his future daughter calls for blood, tears, and sentinel descent. His verbal acumen never ceases to amaze me. In regards to the mockery of his attraction sign, he put in the only reasonable and inexpensive idea he could ever fucking think of. There was also some clarification about the medallion, which people were speculating was made of clay, but Chris specifically said it was made of Crayola model magic. This was just the first day's worth of edits.
So old.
It was a day later, on November 12th, that Chris made the brunt of his most notable edits, such as commenting on his Officer Nasty doll, saying, "Nah, it's just my artificial woman in her plastic blue outfit. Awesome to and the cleaning maintenance is simple. She'll only last until she has her internal injury." Among these discretionary, even humorous additions, he also makes possibly one of the worst mistakes of his life. For absolutely no comprehensible reason, he makes multiple additions to the gallery, all consisting of hand-drawn Sonichu hentai, with the exception of 2 images. The first is titled MaryWantsIt.jpg, a nude Mary Walsh on her evil throne, beckoning with her finger and saying, "Come and lick my pussy, my jerk-off slave." What the fuck? If you can believe it, that wasn't what got him in trouble. But the next image. The infamous Shame Came for Quickie.jpg, which featured Chris with a smirk, a naked female with one hand and doing a thumbs up in the other, captioned with, "Your sister has come for me." Though obviously I can't show the whole image, people have done some anatomical analysis on it in order to understand the inner workings of Chris Chan's creative mind. People began wondering what Chris meant with the caption, because usually when doing trash talk, the target tends to be people's mom, not their sister. Discussions ensued as to what this actually meant to Chris, with some even thinking that the girl in the drawing was Crystal, his imaginary sister/daughter/girlfriend. Little did they know that Chris, at least at the time he wrote the caption, believed John, Megan's brother, was the mastermind behind the trolling, and the caption was meant for him. The girl in the drawing was Megan, but no one knew this other than Chris. The rest of that year's edits of
Okay, actually, I also kind of thought that it kind of looked like Megan.
ED page were uneventful back and forth between Chris and the site's moderation. Over in Chris's emails on December 30th, he wrote and sent a poem that's quite the mouthful to say the least. "For my true love, I'd treat her tenderly, sweetly, gently, like a summer breeze. I'd caress her skin gently with my strong fingers. I'd take her to eat and provide for her.
Okay, I wish I didn't stop
here.
here.
I'd start small at McDonald's, then let it get better in due time. When the mood is right, I'd whisk her in my arms and lift her up in sweet gentleness. If she is willing to allow the pleasure, I'd lay her down, caress her gently, tickle her fancy,
I shouldn't have ended it here.
my fancy, and give it to her with the learned, lonely experience I've endured." I have no idea how Chris's post-McDonald's erotica is more articulate than the writing of Sonichu.
Oh, it's at 1 hour too. That's nice. I can remember that. Damn. Why after McDonald's? There's so many other places you could choose. Why McDonald's? But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Take care, Ronnie. Have a great time.